What it is, what is up, what is good, gamers? This is Shonuff 71, aka Diggadoodlemite,
Purple bling bling, yo.
and your auditor canals are tuned into episode 252 of the Gaming Vessels podcast. Of course, I am not in the digital studio alone. Along with me, got my partners in crime. First on deck, we got Dez, aka the Bay Area Terror, aka the High Res Lover,
That's me.
aka the Cat Daddy, aka that gamer stepdaddy. How's it going?
Hey, not bad. Not bad. Just happy to be here, hanging out, kicking it with you fine fellows. You know the drill. Love being here. Love hanging out.
All right. So we've got up next Jabroni Chief, aka
The Food Master.
what's your other name? Yeah, yeah. Sorry,
No problem.
Senior brain fart.
All right.
The Food
aka
Max
the
Gaming.
Food Max of Gaming, maximize your gaming dollar. What's going on, my friend?
Not much. Just enjoying this nice summer, the summer months on here. So out and about. Went to the mall today. I bought I think 5 baseball caps because it's that time of season. You know the Jabroni Chief, how he rolls. You go in the back as soon as you got the notification from Lids that they're having clearance sale. $10 baseball caps. I'm all in there to win it. I don't care what logo's on that damn hat. If it looks cool, I'm buying it. So.
Wow.
So do you have the entire league?
No, well, there's some teams I kind of draw the line as far as buying, like a New York Mets cap. Hails to the hails no, or a Philadelphia Phillies, because I'm an Atlanta Braves fan, and so I'd rather basically do certain things to myself versus buying a baseball cap with that particular team on it. So today I kind of push my boundaries because I don't like the LA Dodgers all that much, but I wound up buying a couple LA Dodgers caps because I'm one of my friends I'm seeing right now. She is a LA Dodgers fan, like true blue, and so it's like okay. I see you. So as long as
Damn.
Well, she's not a Phillies fan. We're good.
Yeah. Well, she's a Phillies fan. Who knows? We'll have it'll be a good spark, a good brawl. But I actually, Dodgers at one point were in the NL West, and so they played the Braves, and fought against the Braves. I didn't like the Dodgers really, so I still don't like the Dodgers all that much, but. Hey, I have a Dodgers cap, so look at me.
Very sweet of you.
All right. Well, what is always our first topic on the docket, we're going to go into our playlist, and now we're adding our summer backlog games update. So let's kick things off with Dez. What you been playing, bro? And what's in your backlog? What update do you have on your backlog?
Alrighty, so for my update, so the playlist I have interwoven, as you would say, my summer backlog into the games that I am playing. So I'm still playing Diablo 4 with Joe. I think he is getting close to he is definitely getting close to the end, and I think it's going to be great because then we can actually start playing some other stuff. We can start, by other stuff I mean doing some other content within that game. So I'm excited for that. I want to give Joe kudos for sticking with it. It's hilarious because he's been picking up the side quests in every place that he goes, and he's got to a point now where he has too many side quests, so he can't pick up any more side quests. Joe's like, I know he's just like, his the hairs on the back of his neck is standing up because he's like, I want to do these side quests. So I'm just like, I'm glad Joe's sticking to it. It's almost done, and then you can do your side quests to your heart's content until you're blue in the face, my friend. So stick with it. You're almost there. We're almost there, Joe.
All right.
yeah, the finish line or just beyond those trees. Just keep it up, buddy. So the other game that I started playing is Pathfinder: Wrath of the Righteous. I don't know why. I got my kind of C RPG feelings going on right now. I kind of put Miasma Chronicles to the side. It was getting a little too repetitive. The story was fun, but it was getting a little bit too repetitive. So I will be going back to that to finish it, but I just wanted something else. And Pathfinder: Wrath of the Righteous is one of those games. It's like Baldur's Gate 3 and whatnot, but not near as polished or that quality, but it's still a pretty good game. And it's based off the Pathfinder first edition Pathfinder. So if you ever played, Baldur's Gate or Celestia, or I think that's what it's called, Celestia, you'll know what I'm talking about. And it's fun. It is a little bit overly complicated depending on how you want to play it, but overall, it's not bad. It's not bad. I've only created two characters, to try to see how I like, and I'm definitely finding that the mages are a lot more my speed, staying in the back, letting folks do what they got to do and hanging on. So I'm kind of excited for that. So it's been a pretty fun game. And lastly, the actual game from my summer backlog that I've been playing is Sea of Stars, and it is great. It is a classic RPG, in the vein of something like Chrono Trigger or those old Final Fantasy games, and it's great. It is fantastic. If you haven't played this game or picked it up, you really should. Whether it's on Switch or PS, 5, pick it up. It's a lot of fun. It's got the turn-based combat, but the thing about it is there are no random encounters. You're running through the levels and you run into the people you're going to fight, your enemies. And it's great because sometimes if you're able, you can like knock them on the head beforehand to push off these kind of like star bits that you can absorb and get more powerful. And it's just a really fun game because there's no transition to another screen. You literally you kind of hit and then you jump back into your positions, and it's all randomized where you jump back into your positions, and it's great. It looks so cool. It's seamless how it happens. Just really, really cool. And then each character is like they're called solstice warriors. And so the female is like lunar warrior, and the male is like the sun warrior, and they have a friend running around with them, which is like a battle chef that they have from high school. And just the story is great. It's just a lot of fun. The combat, while deceptively simple, is really engaging because it takes the old Mario, Paper Mario, or where if you hit the button right before they attack or right when they hit, you get a more damage. Or if you block in a specific time, you block it a little bit more. And then if you don't, there is stamina recovery, but just by hitting your enemy, you recover stamina and stuff. That way, that's how you do your abilities. And there's no dedicated spellcasters. You just have like these abilities that you can do. Fantastic. And it's been taking place on these little islands, and the way you get to different islands is really cool. Just the artwork is great. The overworld is fun. It's just a really well thought out, fun game. And if you haven't played it, I highly suggest you take a chance on it. And another thing, the traversal is so cool because there's a lot of like verticality because you can jump down into holes, you can climb up onto stuff, you can get into the water, you can fight in the water. There's just a lot of really cool things that you can do in the game. That's just been a lot of fun. So I cannot sing its praises enough. If you really want a cool throwback classic game, Sea of Stars is fantastic. And this game is part of my summer backlog blowout, so I will be finishing it. That way you guys, and I can tell you, like, if it was able to keep that charm all the way through, it's about 20-hour runtime. So I'm super excited for it. I have been really, really enjoying it. So yeah, the music's good too. Just I can't keep singing its praises. Definitely worth checking out. But those are the three games that I have been playing, and I'm gonna kick it over to Kev. Kev, what have you been playing, buddy?
So I've been playing one of my summer backlogs, which is Fate Samurai Remnant, and
Fantastic.
I just made it to chapter 2, and I'm having fun with it, but I'm kind of seeing some of the I don't know some of the flaws in the game now,
Mm.
and I'm playing on the hardest difficulty, which isn't really it's more annoying than difficult. And what I mean by that is the game, the game is hides how best put it. So it's a Muso style game up first off. So a lot of your boss fights are you're going to have a main boss and he's going to throw a whole bunch of minions at you. So rule of thumb is you handle the minions because you don't want to get nickel to dime to death when you're dealing with the boss. And then when all the minions are out of the way, then you focus on the main threat. But what happens a lot is the the boss will like hide behind like all his little minions, and they're all just kind of standing around, and like maybe one or two of them will try to attack, and then he comes in and does some type of major attack, but it's his tails are hidden behind all the other minions that he's got in front of him, and it's not a terrible thing, but it just kind of irritates me because I've been hit several times by attacks that I would have seen coming if not for the fact that the computer positions all of these minions in such a way, like regardless of how you adjust the camera, where if there are minions there, that they will be, kind of in the way of how the boss is moving or the attack that's on its way to you. And really, that's like the only thing that the only complaint that I have of it. It's a pretty game, lots of colors. It's in the Fate Stay Night universe, so of course all the characters are very grandiose and larger than life, individuals. The I fought my first master servant duo, which I don't know. It is kind of like another thing that is kind of weird is like you don't actually beat at least with this confrontation, you don't actually beat him. You just fight him and you drive the energy bar down to a point where it goes into a cutscene, something happens, and basically the fights are interrupted. The fight is interrupted, so it takes you to another story point. The thing that is kind of weird though is that when you're fighting a servant and a master, the servants are all OP, including the one that you have with you. So what you have to do is you kind of have to focus everything on the master, who is basically just kind of like another human, like you are, and whittle their energy bar down to get them out of the fight. And that's when you can concentrate on the servant and deal with him or her. The neat thing is that you can switch between your main character Iori and Saber, the servant, and you just kind of have to know when to do that because Saber does so much more damage than Iori does in her attacks. So you kind of have to when the opportunity arises, take control of Saber and focus her attacks on the enemy servant that you're fighting. And it's kind of like, well, okay, like it's like when you die, the fight's over. It's like you get a game over screen. But when you take down an enemy, so because I actually did that during this fight. When you take down an enemy master, take his power gauge all the way down to 0. It's like, well, he's still there. And then as you're fighting the servant, if you don't do enough damage within an unspecified amount of time, he gets his energy bar back, and then you have to continue to fight. And that's something else that I don't like about that I'm not cool with the game. It's like, well, that's kind of cheesy, because you're not telling me how long I have until his energy bar comes back. But that's also just kind of like a lame. I've always thought it was lame. I've played other games, not very many games that use this as a difficulty tactic. I don't think it's not a good one. I don't think. I mean, I'm still having fun with the game. I might dial it down back to normal just because of that. I'm assuming that is a feature of the hardest difficulty. I'm assuming that. I don't know for sure. I know I can. Next time I play, I might dial it down to see if things like that continue. But I'm still enjoying the game. It's still very pretty. Still fun. If you dig Muso style games, and it's a fun one. But it does do a couple of funky things that I'm just not really not feeling all that much. And the only other game I've been playing really has been Helldivers 2. We're still running solo missions for the most part, because I don't do rando groups anymore. This last update has really brought a lot of variety to what you can do. I still struggle in the clearing challenging missions. So I haven't moved up to hard, and definitely haven't messed with Helldiver level stuff solo. Because it's like, if I'm struggling still with challenging, I got a ways to go, and it just has to do with managing the crowd controls. I'm focusing on the bugs, because the automatons on challenging and hard and hell dive, you really sort of have to have certain loadouts for them. And I just acquired the material rifle, which is almost like a requirement, because you want to engage them from as far away as possible. And there's like a couple other primaries that I need to be able to pick up before I even think about messing with them, just because of their laser precision. When shooting at you, you got to really take advantage of cover. You really kind of have to even engage them from first person, because you need to take them out at range as much as possible. So, but still having fun with Helldivers 2. It's kind of like my cool down game before I turn in. But that's really all I'm playing right now. I think what I might do is add another one of my backlog games to the list. I do need to go back and play Grand Blue. And it's been so long since I played it, I don't remember where I am in the story. So I'm just going to start that. I'm just going to start that game over. I'm probably going to kick off. Yeah, I'm probably going to start Grand Blue, either Grand Blue or Elden Ring. I just haven't made up my mind yet. One of those I want to kick off.
I'm down with Grand Blue,
Pretty
like
soon.
I said last episode, but I'll have to see if I have time to play any games. But
Yeah.
But that's what I have been playing. So I'm gonna pass the mic over to Jabroni Chief. What you been up to, bro?
This past week I've been doing a lot of overtime from work, so it's like I worked like a good fair amount and going out and doing other things other than gaming. So it's been mainly Diablo 4 on there. I finally got to Act 4 last night with Christian and Dez on there. In fact, Dez bowed out and me and Christian pushed on until I started falling asleep. So
How long was that?
about 20 minutes at most.
Okay.
So, but I have gotten up to the point to where okay, the chests opening with loot is obviously with the tier level I'm on, not rewarding whatsoever, and so I'm just taking the time to just go to the major story beats because I mean I could get kind of delved in the side quests, but I mean without getting loot, the side quests is just kind of a slow like march to gain Paragon points and levels if need be, and I'd rather just get to where I could bump up the world tier and then be able to move forward and get more rewards for actually playing the game. But I'm still enjoying playing it quite a bit. I am in it for the long haul, so I want to finish Diablo 4, but I also want to get to my summer backlog um, with the competition because right now, none of the games I talked about last week for the summer backlog blowout, I have not played one lick of either of them. So it looks like, my wallet's looking like,
Oh, damn, Kev, we gonna be eating good. We was going to Sizzler.
Hey, I'll go to Sizzler with you guys. Malibu chicken. Oh, boy.
Malibu chicken.
You could put like meatballs in the taco shell and go crazy. So, go crazy. So, but yeah.
Thank you.
I played a little bit more of EDF 6 too. So, I mean, I love that game. That game is just like awesome. I was demonstrating to Christian as far as the different character classes and was kind of showing him the game, but kind of dived in and did some Ranger and then played some Wing Diver to kind of show him how the Wing Diver played. And I actually was playing with the Wing Diver for the first couple of chapters on there, and I'm kind of getting used to, because I always bust out with the Ranger. I never did the Air Diver. I never really played with what's the other character classes? Wing Diver, Ranger, Air Raider, and like one other.
Commando or assault thingy? You're talking about the one that uses the heavy, that walks around like the power.
Oh yeah, the ones that has the exo mecha suit.
Yeah,
that one. So
I can never. Kev was the only one that really played that one, and I can't remember the name of it either. So sorry.
Yeah, I don't remember the name of the class either. I just use the mech guy, and then there's the equipment summoner. I don't remember the official.
The fencer is the other one. The fencer.
The fencer. That's what it was. Yes, the fencer.
Yeah, so fencer's kind of crazy. It's like I have played plenty of EDF in my life. Played plenty of EDF, and so it's like Fencer has just never been something to where I've dived in and played on there. I'm kind of curious, maybe with EDF World Brothers, if I could check out the Fencer and the Air Raider classes, if I could get maybe baby's first EDF like kind of tutorial into those two character classes, kind of go from there. But who knows? But
sure, you do well.
I want to play this game more, but I want to finish Diablo. I want to get to my summer backlog games because if not, I'll be paying out the way, going to Ruth Chris or whatever we go eat. So,
no, I think you could do it. I believe in you, Joe. I believe in you. I don't want to get it like that. I want you to beat your games. That way we can all, have a good old celebration.
Of course, yeah.
But if not, I will definitely take your money. So, just saying.
Aye. Let's hope we don't get like too crazy. Like you come over next week and you make sure my PlayStations don't work or something, or like,
Oh no, I would never do that.
Sabotage your equipment.
Come on, Joe. I would never do that. Never.
Never ever. Okay. But that's all I've been up to this past week as far as gaming is concerned. So mainly Diablo, little EDF, and hopefully more progress next week. I got a 4-day weekend next weekend, so
Yep.
See what happens. So.
All right, so that's going to move us over to our next topic on the docket. That is going to be our main event. All right, Des, you got the mic.
All righty, for our main event, it comes to us from the Jabroni Chief. He's been knocking out the park with these questions. So his question that he asked us and our listeners is, with the rumor that Sony will be bringing out PlayStation 3 games on PlayStation 5, what games would you want to play again on your PS5? Give us your top 3 PS3 games or franchises that you want to fire up again or play for the first time. So, Joe, since this is your question, I would like to send it over to you, buddy. What are you talking about? Which ones do you really want to take a second look at, or a first look at, or which one's kind of speaking to you? Is it going to be all RPGs? Is it going to be FPSs? Which ones are you looking for, buddy?
One thing I'm going to say right off the bat, in the game series I've been wanting to get back to, even though I played all 3 of them, I played them immensely. In fact, the Resistance series, I would love to be able to go ahead and fire up all of those titles again, Resistance 1, Resistance 2, and Resistance 3, because they all had kind of different peculiarities with the gameplay, actually. So I kind of feel that that series should deserve another shake or two from Sony. And so, I mean, it's a franchise I think a lot of people would want to come back. Insomniac did a really good job with that series. I just don't remember the 3rd game not getting such good kudos versus 1 and 2. And a lot of people said, like, this is not Halo, this is not Killzone even on there, and I think it deserves a second look, either with a remake, a new game, or if it has to be emulation, guess what? It's emulation on there. So it's kind of crazy that I think for me, I already own like numerous PS3, so I could actually fire it up on the actual the hardware itself. But I'm thinking just to be able to play on PS5 and super the greatest mode, as long as the emulation is good, I think that would be something that I would want to get myself back into on here. So also, I think, another game, even though it's like kind of available on personal computer or whatnot, but I think it'd be kind of cool to maybe have the PS3 version of XCOM Enemy Unknown on there, be able to brought out for current gen consoles. I think that would be something that could be brought forward. And then another title I'm thinking that would be kind of good to bring over too, since I think after they did the first Dead Space 1 remake, they're not bringing over Dead Space 2 or Dead Space 3 as far as a remake is concerned. That seeing those games on current generation and be able to play with upscaling and whatnot, I think would be a good way to go. I think Kev would probably agree too that those games might be something that be worthy of another playthrough if need be.
Yeah.
I know Dead Space 3 kind of gets the I think it was not exactly the best out of the series, but
yeah, Dead Space 2 for sure. Dead Space 3 is kind of like, I played Dead Space 3. I didn't finish it because I just when you have somebody else coming in or playing the game along with you, it's just not as scary. Even as an AI control character, it's just not as scary. I mean, it was okay. It was okay as an action game, but as a horror game, it just something was just missing. Just the feeling of isolation is just where it's like you against these unknown horrors. It's different when even though that other character is not always with you when you're playing solo. It just kind of breaks the horror for me.
Okay.
And then a couple other games too, just to kind of throw some honorable mentions. Warhawk, I think, would be kind of cool to play again, especially since the servers are down. As far as to be able to bring that back, of course. And then I think you're going to mention this too, Des, but I think the infamous 1 and 2, and then the Festival of Blood titles, I think deserve a worthy of a relook if need be.
Yep. I never played them. I never played 2 or Festival of Blood, so I wanted to play those. So, but yeah, I'll talk about it more in my spot. So go ahead.
Okay, that's pretty much it for me. So,
all right. So I'll follow up. So for me, as Joe said, definitely Infamous 1 and 2. I played the first one and completed it, and it was such a great game. Just fantastic. I cannot wait to play it again. I just hope that it looks good, like high res. It looks better. They really made it look, crispy, so to speak. So there's my hope that when they put it, or they do the backwards conversion or something like that, it is up-resed and it looks good, and I think that's a really great way to give love to these old games. But yeah, just like Joe said, Infamous 1 and 2, Festival of Blood, definitely. I would love to play the first Bayonetta again. I have it. Joe got it for me with a collection with it was Bayonetta and I can't remember the other game.
Vanquish. It's actually that's a PS4 game actually.
Yeah, it's a PS4 upgraded version of it. So I think it'd be really kind of fun to play the original PS3 version. Yeah, I remember it being a PS4 game. But yeah, I would love to play that again. It was just funny because I thought, like, I played it and it was really, really fun, but I never finished it. And I was like, I really want to finish this game. Like, I really want to go back and play it. So I figured, yeah, this is a great question, and I think I would definitely want to do that. And then the last one is Eternal Sonata. And I don't know if a lot of people know this game, but it is a JRPG, and it was based around music. I remember playing it for the first time on the 360, and it was this. It's a very weird story about this composer who is dying, and in his dying breath, he gets transported to another world, and he goes on this adventure that is song based. So there's different, it's sort of like Rhapsody, which is another kind of like it was a Game Boy. I can't remember which Game Boy it came out on, but it was it's like a musical RPG about this composer. I think it was Chopin. And he wants to go on this quest and adventure, and he's figuring out music. And I really thought it was a great little silly kind of game that I thought was just, it was just very unique in its presentation and in its look and in its combat systems. And I just thought, you know what, I really would like to try this again and to play that. So yeah, it was about Chopin and his compositions, and this person in this piano like land. So you don't see games like that much anymore, coming out of studios. And so when I was looking at it, I was like, wow, this is really kind of cool. It was an old Bandai Namco game that was developed by Tri Crescendo, so of all places. of all developers, and I just thought, this could be kind of interesting. Like they're the ones that did, Valkyrie Profile and Star Ocean, and it was just like this one kind of came out of nowhere. Like who would have thought that you'd have a game about chopping, and it's just interesting. So I was like, yeah.
Was the music pretty good?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's basically kind of based in like real life, but not really real life, you know. But and what's weird is like the person that it's based on is a Polish, pianist and composer, Frederick Chopin, who died of tuberculosis at the age of 39. And it's about his dreams during the final, hours of his life and music. And it's sort of this interesting retrospective as well as a video game. So again, you don't get games like that much anymore. And especially to have an actual big, I don't want to say big budget, but to actually have like, a big, lots of fanfare and being done by a pretty, notable studio. So again, when I was looking at, PS3 games, when I was doing a little research on this question, that game popped out and I was like, yeah, I remember that game. I remember playing it and being like, this is really cool. And it originally came out in 2007, and I'm like, this would be a perfect game to revisit on the PS3. So yeah, definitely. So, but that was mine. So, Kev, what is yours, buddy? What games would you want to be playing on the PS3?
I'll say that. Well, I kind of have to think because some of the games that I'm thinking about now, they were on PlayStation 2, so I have to rethink those. Well, I can't include those because those were PS2 games originally. I just played them on PS3 because my first one had backwards compatibility. I'm going to go with the infamous games. The first and the second one were really good, so I will echo those. I'm going to add Knight's Contract.
Oh wow, I haven't thought about that in a minute.
Bandai Namco, kind of an action game. I was going to say RPG, but I don't think it had a whole lot of RPG elements in it. You play as you're this witch who makes a contract with this undying knight. I don't even remember exactly what the story was about, but she has something she needs to do. The knight can't die, but she can. So when she gets taken out, the game's over. Really interesting way of weaving in spells and melee combat. That much I remember. I still have the game. It's been eons since I last played it. A lot of fun, really cool. And the other game I'm gonna mention is gonna be Wolverine.
Jeez.
There was a Wolverine game that came out for PS3, Xbox 360, a straight up God of War ripoff. I mean, the same button presses, the same kind of sort of like the same moves as Kratos, except you're Wolverine with claws and not the chains of chaos. But for a God of War total ripoff clone, Wolverine was what I hope this new one is going to be. What I mean by that, it is bloody as all get out. Like the introductory screen is Wolverine diving out of a military helicopter and just crushing some random enemy soldier, just like completely. I mean, demolishes him, just blood and guts everywhere, and then that's the title screen. You dismember people left and right. And the whole, it kind of takes you from his Weapon X days, kind of I can't remember if there are other X-Men in the game. I don't think there are.
I think it's based on the Wolverine movie. It's called X-Men Origins Wolverine, I believe. So
yeah.
Yeah, it might be, but I can't remember if anybody else was involved in it, but it was hella bloody. And
Oh wow.
that's one of the reasons why I
Yeesh.
really liked it. Um, and I hope that the Insomniac Wolverine game is just as brutal in the gameplay. So that much I can remember. I can remember like there were you had to fight these big giant dudes. I can't remember who they are or what they were. I don't know if they were Weapon X failures or what have you, but you had to climb on the back of them and just like gouge out their gouge out their necks to take them out. Your dude would just be
Jeez.
covered in blood. As he took damage, you would see Wolverine's adamantium skeleton be kind of revealed. And over time, if you stood still for a while, his healing factor would come in. You could also pick up these health orbs, just like in God of War. You didn't break chests, you broke something else to get stuff like that out. He had a skill tree to build out his melee combat, and it was just again total ripoff of the original God of War games, but it was a crap load of fun. I traded that game back and always intended to pick it up again, but I never got around to it. I don't even know what it runs on eBay nowadays. But yeah, though that game was just an absolute blast to play. So I'm gonna go with those two. I'm pretty sure that there's some others I could think of. I could come up with if I, rack my brain long enough, but I'm just gonna stick with those 4 games.
Fantastic. So those are our lists for the games that we definitely want to take a look at if and when the PlayStation 5 gives us backwards compatibility or brings those PS3 games or franchises to us again. I really hope that it's part of I hope it's part of the service that we already have and is not something that we have to pay for or add any payments for. So please, if you're listening, PS5 people, PlayStation people, don't make us pay for it, please. But
probably going to be a PlayStation Plus Premium. Probably
that's fine. So. I got it for a couple more years. So please, just let us have it. Don't be mean. So that's pretty much it. Please take the time to let us know your thoughts, and we'll discuss them on our next episode. So you can do that on our Discord. You can do it on X or Twitter, and yeah, we'll definitely go over it and talk about your selections because we love to do that. But what follows me? It's the Jabroni Gaming News.
All right, thank you, Des. Okay.
You're welcome, sir.
All right, so yeah, after the Summer Game Fest and all this other business going on, maybe not as much news. So, maybe we're a little bit lighter on the news tip this week and probably going to be so for the rest of the summer unless, Sony decides to do a state of play with like a summer showcase or whatnot. But first thing we have off the bat right now is going to be regarding Warhammer 40K Space Marine 2. So what Saber Interactive decided to do is they have canceled their public beta test for the game on here. They basically said that by running the beta now would, quote unquote, would take the development teams away from preparing for the full launch. This is disappointing news for some of you, and then they are offering a free limited edition bolt pistol skin as compensation for those who signed up to participate. So they said via their update on Steam, says Space Marine 2 is almost ready. We are now entirely focused on optimization, polish, and fixing remaining issues ahead of the launch on September the 9th. This means that we will not run a public online beta as it would take the development teams away from preparing for the full launch on there. So So, I think this is kind of cool. I think, in the purpose of, I mean, if you have enough time to get a beta out, get a beta out. I mean, half the time for me at least, I don't really pay attention. I want to play the game when it comes out. In fact, more than likely, I'm going to play the game when it comes out, and I'll wait at least 3-4 weeks before firing up and playing a game, especially if it's something that's going to, be updated continuously, or if there's going to be bugs at the start, if it's coming in hot, so I'm all for this. I mean, bring out a beta if you need to bring out a beta, bring out a demo later once the game comes out so that you could sell the game to people that might not have picked it up, maybe interested in it if need be. Kev, I'm going to kick it over to you because I know you're waiting for Space Marine 2. I don't think you are deterred by any means by the demo being pulled, right?
No, I'm not. Honestly, I think this has a lot to do with not with the game, but what's going on with 40K as an IP right now. They're in well, you would say that they're in trouble, but I just saw an article a couple of days ago. I guess they had a financial call, and they're talking about how they've had this is like one of their best what do they call that, financial reports that they've ever had. And basically what it boils down to is they made some changes that the Chutosphere does not like. And I'm not into 40K, so I don't really know who to believe in this because I'm completely unfamiliar with the IP. But I guess there's this class called the Adeptus Custodes that they decide to make female. And I guess that threw everybody into a tizzy. And everything related to 40K has just been thrown, modern 40K, I mean, has just been thrown into the crapper with regard to the direction that I was about to say the name of the company who owns the IP in general, the direction that they're taking the franchise. And it's just causing a whole lot of division, particularly when there's already, from what I understand, there's already an all-female regiment, Sisters of Silence, I think they're what they're called, and they're supposed to be super badass as well.
Yeah.
And it's just causing a whole lot of shenanigans. I didn't even think that this game really needed a beta, because from what they've shown of I'll probably never play the PvP. From what they've shown of the PvP, it looks very basic. Like, I didn't see anything real, and it's only like 3v3, or it might be 5v5, I'm not sure. But it looks really basic. I didn't see a whole lot of interesting gameplay. I just saw one dude flying, somebody on the ground shooting up at him. Then they showed another dude flying around with a jetpack and doing a crashing impact from above on another Space Marine. So I'm not seeing anything that says, "Oh man, this is going to be a big community, a mode that's going to bring the 40K community together, playing multiplayer." I didn't see that at all. I would be more interested in playing the PvE stuff that's going to be in it, which is going to be like a lot of horde mode stuff. That is more enticing to me. But the thing that's bringing me into this game period is just a standard game. From what, there's just so many Tyranids on the screen. It's like when you look at that battlefield and you see all these bugs and armored bugs running towards you, it's even more intimidating than what you see in Helldivers 2. there's just bugs everywhere. They're flying everywhere. They're on the ground, and it just looks like we all gonna die. You know, that kind of there is an air of hopelessness, even though you are this walking weapon of mass destruction. That even the first game didn't give. I mean, even the first game, it was like you knew that you were up against hordes of stuff, you know, the orcs, but the orcs ain't got nothing on these Tyranids, and I don't know anything about them as, you know, creatures in the IP itself, but they just it's like it seems to me that if these things come to your planet, you're just doomed.
Yep. Like, thanks,
You
but
know?
you're gone. Bye bye.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what I can't wait to get a hold of. I think this game runs the risk of being a casualty of war in the Chutosphere, anti-Chutosphere wars that are going on. I read an article fairly recently, again with no confirmation from either what is it, Gameplay Works that owns the IP, GameWorks Studios or whatever, or the developers of the game. Nothing official from them, but there's rumors that pre-orders are not what they expected. So there is some concern for that. And hopefully the game looks good to me. I don't see it not being good. And this is coming from somebody who has no horse in the race when it comes to the 40K franchise in general. I just really love the first game. And this game looks like more of that. And that's why I'm going to be buying it. So hopefully it's good. Hopefully it makes its sales. But I think one of the reasons why they're shutting this down for the beta could be just so that they can, you know, like they said, make this game the best that it can be. Even if the multiplayer is a little lacking right now, I mean, that can always be added on to at a later date. But if the core attraction needs to really shine, particularly with the divisions that are going on with the 40K community right now. So I think that's probably what's going on.
Yeah, just to confirm, Space Marine 2 includes PvP modes, including Annihilation, Seized Ground, and Capture and Control. It's basically Space Marines versus Chaos Marines, so it's just Marine versus Marine combat on there for the PvP. Now, there's also a PvE mode called Operations. It's a 3-player co-op mode. That you are able to select between 6 different classes, including the Combat Shield Rolling Bulwark and the Stealthy Sniper on there. So, and according to the PvE information, basically you could tinker with everything as far as your gear, from your helm to your greaves on there. They said that a season pass is going to be available, which will include cosmetics. New content like missions, enemies, and weapons will be available to all players through free regular updates. So basically the season pass is just cosmetics and cosmetics only in this situation. So to me, I think that's a good indicator that they're keeping the community basically all on the same page. And I hate that the fact that some games have season passes with maps where basically it's making people basically not have access to the full game if need be. So I'm there day one for Space Marine. How about you, Des?
Probably day one. Depends on if you guys are going to be really kind of into it. And it seems like you are, so most likely I'll follow along suit and jump in there and play with you guys. I think that'd be fun.
Sounds good. All right, next thing I want to talk about, Ubisoft this week commented the fact that, hey, guess what? There's going to be more Assassin's Creed remakes along the way. So Ubisoft CEO Yves Levine commented the fact that that there are multiple Assassin's Creed remakes on here. Basically, he hasn't revealed which ones yet, but news follows reports last year that Ubisoft's much-loved Assassin's Creed Black Flag is getting the remake treatment. So he basically mentioned the fact that, this is Ease in their interview. It says, firstly, players can be excited about some remakes, which will allow us to revisit some of the games we've created in the past and modernize them. There are worlds in some of our older Assassin's Creed games that are extremely rich on here. So I guess according to a Kotaku report last year, basically that the Skull and Bones studio and Ubisoft Singapore were heavily involved in the remake of Assassin's Creed Black Flag on there. And basically, I don't know if they would go back to maybe the Ezio collection. I'm hoping if
they can't go back to Ezio. They've already gone back to Ezio.
I know they have. Yeah, they've already.
They can't do that. Ezio can't be bailing them out all the time because they can't come up with something new.
It's gonna be there. It's gonna be there.
Shadows. They're not. It's like they're not even giving Shadows an opportunity to get its own shine.
Nope.
And I think it's because again of what's going on in the Chutosphere, which is, I hate that culture war stuff just drags everything around it down. And I say that on both sides because I see the points made by both sides, but both sides are so freaking toxic that it just brings everything down. And it's coming to a point now where these companies are paying attention to it. And that's the part that sucks, because instead of hyping up your product that isn't even out right now, you're talking about, man, can't wait to bring out these Assassin's Creed remakes from all those. Remember when you used to like Assassin's Creed and, it was quote unquote based on quote unquote historical reality, which is bullshit. I don't recall reading about the magic aliens with the apple in my history classes. That is the part that really pisses me off. And if these guys think that Ezio is going to bail them out again, I think they're just. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I think if you're going to remake Assassin's Creeds, how about you remake the one that took place in New Orleans, where you had the two protagonists? I had it for the Vita, and I think it was a Vita exclusive, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they eventually released it for other platforms.
Yeah. Remake that one. You can.
Assassin's Creed 3 Liberation is that
Liberation, one. Yeah. We can investigate that one, but again, it's like I think just about all these games have had HD. A remake of, or at least an HD remake of some sort in prior console generations, and it's like you guys have potentially one of the most intriguing Assassin's Creeds that you've ever done that isn't even out yet. It's not even out yet. And you guys are building up hype for remakes of these old games. And I think this is just what happens when fandoms on both sides of the culture war just go toxic and these companies start paying attention to them. And it kind of ticks me off because it's almost like that game that's getting ready to come out, F that. Yeah, we're bringing in all this old shit that we've already HD'd to death, and we're going to remake all those games. Remember back when you were complaining about Assassin's Creed being an annual release all the time? Yeah, remember those games? Yeah, we're bringing them back again, and we literally have something that could be unique, groundbreaking in presentation and combat and mechanics in a place that people have been begging for Japan, but we're so terrified of what's going on socially with that now is the time we're going to talk about these old games that back when y'all were bitching and moaning that Assassin's Creed came out every year. I don't know. It just sucks.
All right. All right, good deal. Okay, Des, do you have anything to add? Any Assassin's Creed? I know that's a franchise that's kind of on your, like, I'm not sure.
I don't mess with Assassin's Creed, so
You don't?
no,
Okay.
this is not in my wheelhouse at all. Though I do believe that even though Kevin is like, they can't go back to Ezio, they can't. They definitely will. That's their bread and butter. That's you got to respect the bread and butter because people are expecting it, and that's unfortunate.
I hate to say, but they've HD'd a lot of these games already. I mean, you mentioned Liberation, Kevin. It's like it already came out in 2018 as part of a season pass for, I think, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, I think is what it came out for. So, and they brought out both Assassin's Creed 3, which a lot of people hated anyway, and then Liberation all in one fell swoop. So.
Yeah, and
which sounds like they're going to go back to Ezio, and if you do, you're just it's weakness on behalf of them because they're letting what's going on dictate how they're moving forward as a company, and you just can't do that. You can't let idiots run the ship. You can't let the insane run the asylum. And I have no proof that that's going on. But as I see how these companies move socially in this weird gaming community that we've got going on right now, I just see it, and it sucks because it's draining the creativity, the fun out of gaming by living in the past, drilling the past into your people's skulls, and just hoping that it turns into sales. I don't know. It's like the gaming community sucks right now, and it's just effing up everything, in my opinion. But we'll see.
All right. Well, other news, another remaster. Actually, we'll talk about this right now. Is Capcom did announce that they are going to have a digital showcase called Capcom Next. It's happening next week on here, so it's going to come out actually tomorrow, July 1st, excuse me, on here. So they teased something. They are doing a remaster of a game they've already previously remastered. So they introduced a teaser trailer for Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster. So it's like DRDR on here. So
okay.
So, yeah. So
yeah.
DRDR on here. So obviously they're going to bring Frank West into the current gen of consoles on here. So it's another remake of Dead Rising on here. We saw like a little teaser of it, but they're going to show more of it to come tomorrow on here. But it is coming out to the quote unquote newest generation of platforms. So PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC seem a reasonable guess on there, basically. So we got to see a little teaser trailer. I think Frank West kind of looks like Dick Nixon, I think, a little bit. So if you take a look at as far as his new character design, but yeah, they kind of cartoonified him a little bit. So, so we'll have to take a look. Were you guys like looking for, because Dead Rising is like a kind of like a game that was in my it's like, I never took the chance to really play it too much. It's in my blind spot a little bit. I played Dead Rising 2, I played Dead Rising 3, I played a little bit of Dead Rising 4, but I never played the original. So
I never played any of the Dead Rising games. I mean, I tried them, but I never really played them. So I'd be okay with checking, because for me it would be checking these games out for the first time. So
I played
because I've never owned them.
I played the first one. That was the only one that I really got into with any like I want to play this. I'm going to beat it. It's going to be fun. Blah blah blah. That was the only one that I did. The other two were just I don't know what they were doing with those. They were not good. It seemed like they just decided, hey, we don't want to make a a compelling game. We're just going to make a fun run around and kill zombies games, and that was the second one. And then I was kind of like, well, I guess we're done with that. So
I played quite a bit of 3 because that was a Xbox One exclusive, and so it's like I had a chance to really play that and start a mechanic guy. It was not even Frank Lester or anything like that. And
well, Frank Lester was only in the first one.
Yeah, I think they brought him in. I think he was in the prologue in the second one, maybe. And
I think he was at the beginning of the second one.
Yeah.
On
there, but he definitely Frank West came back for Dead Rising 4, so he's all up in that. That game's kind of almost crazy in a way because it's so cheesy compared to Dead Rising 1 or 2. By the time 3 came out, they kind of were just like, if you can imagine like the difference in between Evil Dead and like Army of Darkness or something, it's just like about the same difference. So. But we'll take a look and see. I'm not sure when it's coming out, but I do own digitally the Dead Rising remaster, so I'm assuming that if you have a previous purchase, too bad, so sad. That's why my assumption at least. So, but they're also going to have a focus on Kunitsu's Gami, Path of the Goddess, on here, which is coming out next month. It's coming out literally on July 19th. On there, and then talk about also Resident Evil 7's move to iPhone, iPad. So, yay! And no updates from Monster Hunter Wilds at all. So, but I'm hoping maybe for some other, surprise announcements. We'll see. So, and I'm kind of curious to see what Capcom's up to. So,
here's hoping.
So, all right. Next thing I want to talk about is that they announced. Digital Eclipse announced that they are releasing a DLC update for Atari 50 coming up. So Atari 50, the anniversary collection, is getting 39 new games added as DLC later this year. This expansion is going to detail further events in the company's eventful history on here. So Atari 50's expanded edition includes 2 new timelines to the existing game. Starting with the wider world of Atari. This features 19 playable games, 8 new video segments, plus interviews, vintage ads, historical artifacts, and more on there. Highlights from the new timeline includes a deep dive into Stern Electronics' robot blasting Berserk. Very excellent game, in my opinion. The unusual and unappreciated innovations and hidden gems from the late 80s. Spotlight on artist Evelyn Sato, which created the Atari logo itself. They're also going to talk to Pong creator Al Alcorn, explaining the birth of Breakout. And they're going to actually show some of the fan base's prototypes on here. So talking about homebrew games and about preserving Atari history on here. And then the second new timeline is called The First Console War, and it highlights the rivalry between the 2600 and the Intellivision on there. So basically, because Atari did buy the rights for Intellivision, they are coming out talking about the whole first console war between Atari and Mattel on here. And so there's going to be 6 video segments talking about that, and then 20 playable games, including a selection of M Network games on here, a mix of Atari and M Network sports games, plus rare Atari 2600 and 5200 prototypes on there. So they are re-releasing the game, just in case if you haven't bought the game previously on here. And so you can go ahead and get the physical edition of the expanded edition for both PS5 or Switch on there, which includes a steelbook. Oh no! So.
Oh no!
Oh no! What am I to do? But I'm actually looking for. I bought Atari 50 and it's sitting on my shelf and I haven't even fired it up yet. And I probably should because when we visited the Atari booth at PAX last year, Des, I kind of got a feel for looking at some old 2600 games, and it's even though it's not the nostalgia that I kind of think I don't really think prior to NES that much anymore. It's something I still need to kind of pay heed because that's where my addiction started.
I would agree 100%.
Kev, what's your overall opinion on this?
Yeah, Atari 50 is great. It's not so much a great game as it is just a fantastic piece of documented history. The controls of the games don't translate well to modern control pads. They don't. Missile Command is all but unplayable. There's a bunch of other games that are damn near unplayable, but that's not really the point of this. The point of this is documenting Atari's history, and it does a better job than some Netflix documentaries. It's really an intriguing piece of software, and shout out to Digital Eclipse for doing that. I will probably double dip when the this updated version is released physically, because I just think it's that important just to see where all of this stuff started. I'm really curious to see how they're going to document the first console war, as somebody who was actually in it, first person live. I'm really curious to see how they document what was going on then, because your boy was out there on the elementary playgrounds fighting the console war like a champ. Representing the Mattel side, and my homie Jason was representing the 2600 side. But what was so funny was that at the end of the day, it was like, okay, are you coming over to my house this weekend? Or it was like, yeah, because Dad just bought me whatever, Empire Strikes Back or whatever 2600 game had come out then. So yeah, it was console warring, but on a much more fun personal level than it is right now. Because now the console war is it's not fun. It's just toxic. Yeah. And back in the day, before all this Twitter stuff, it was a lot more fun, because you were actually interacting with people in real time, in reality, face to face. And it was just a lot of fun, and I even had a teacher that got involved in it. Was it Mr. Tally, or was it? Yeah, it was Mr. Tally. He used to find stuff and cut things out of the newspaper. He's also one of the people that there was a big expose on in television and Atari in TV Guide, and he brought that in. And I can't remember. It was like we had some type of free time, and me and Jason were pouring through that TV Guide, and it just turned into a class debate, just off the cuff. It was just really, it was really fun. It was really fun, and for me, this is when I became a fan of video games. I fell in love with the hobby, was the 2600 in television era. So I'm all for this.
All right. Any words, Des? I mean, I don't know if you started with Atari. You probably didn't, but
I played Atari, but I definitely was more into Sega. I definitely had one. My cousins had one, and I, watched them play and stuff. But for the most part, it was that's not fully my.
It was before your time. It was before your time.
Yeah, it wasn't before my time. It's just I just never really got into it like you guys did. I think that's the main thing. Yeah.
All right, good deal. I didn't realize, but there's a Atari 50th anniversary arcade one-up, actually, so was not aware whatsoever. But I think Atari's doing a really good job licensing out and doing things with their IP. So
that's good.
Kudos on that. So, and then last but not least, we want to talk about a game we talked about a few episodes ago. Sony Interactive Entertainment and Firewalk Studios are going to be having an early access beta for Concord. And that's going to be available from July 12th to July 14th. And the early access beta will only be available for people who pre-order Concord. So just in case if you
no one playing that.
Play that one. And then there's going to be an open beta from July 18th to July 21st on that. So and that's coming out. One thing they did mention the fact that basically it's a point that all characters are going to be available at launch. So you can play as all 16 of the free gunners that will be available in the open beta on here. And a lot of the maps are going to be open too as well. They mentioned the fact that there's going to be multiple modes available as well. They include 3 modes, including Trophy Hunt, Cargo Run, and Clash Point on there. So, and then during the open beta weekend, they're going to have a new mode called Area Control as well. So, I'm not sure how well this game's going to do. Obviously, on this show, we're getting all the pot shots here, there, but there's some interest, at least from the previews I've seen out there. But, it just depends if this game actually finds an audience or not. It's coming out on August 23rd for both PlayStation and Steam on there. Of course, if you do happen to get either version, there is going to be cross save and cross progression as far as between the 2 versions on there. So, and I think just like with Helldivers 2, there's going to be, obviously the point that you could play with PC players, no problem with this thing. And this will kind of give Sony at least a bellwether whether this, focus on to hero shooting is going to actually come to fruition. I'm sure, Kev, I know you're not interested, probably, right? No.
The more I see of this game, the less interested I become, even after the reveal. This is, if you're not going to do free to play, you can't come in and play with the big boys and not follow the big boy rules. You just can't. No, I don't see anybody being willing to pay for this game, or at least not enough people to support a game like this. I think this thing is DOA. That's just my opinion. I just don't see a whole lot. The character designs are bad. I think they would have been better off just doing like a straight up Guardians of the Galaxy game with a bunch of characters from the Guardians of the Galaxy movies and comic books.
They did.
And just put them all in the game. I know it's the Marvel one.
Yeah.
But it's like this is just no.
This is not it.
No, it ain't. This ain't it. And I'm not talking about, the woke, anti-woke stuff. These character designs are just bad. They're not good. They're all derivatives of other characters that have been in other hero shooters. And there is just nothing there's nothing original about it. And I thought it was like, oh, well, we'll see when this game was revealed at the State of Play. But I've seen a couple other videos of this game in action, and it's literally freaking Overwatch. It's just Overwatch with different skins. If you would put this game in Overwatch and said this is the next Overwatch DLC, nobody would bat an eye, because you can't tell the difference. And this just ain't it, man. And you're asking what, $30 for this?
40
bucks for this? Nah, bruh. Ain't nobody buying this game. No. DOA.
I agree.
All right. That is the Jabroni Gaming News for this episode. I was going to mention, too, Zenless Zone Zero is coming out this next week, too. So maybe we'll keep an eye on that. Is that a game you guys are kind of keeping an eye out for, or maybe check that out?
Maybe.
Which one is that?
That's the Miho.
The GTA Miho game?
Yep, that's coming out July 4th, actually. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was curious about that one. Definitely curious about it. So I'll probably pop in and take a look at it. Is that one free to play too?
It is
Yes,
free to play. Yes,
it's a free to play game.
Yeah, it's crazy, but I was like reading about it a little bit, and they've had like I guess a development staff of 400 people like working on this game to get it ready for launch. So
good heavens,
yeah.
I'll check that one out because it does look it could be pretty dope.
Yeah, according to this article I'm looking at.
God forbid I like a free to play game. That's something.
Zenless Zone Zero has prepared generous in-game rewards, including up to 1,600 polychromes, 70 master tapes, 20 encrypted master tapes, and 80 boupons on here. So yeah, oh boy.
Sure.
Yeah, so boupons, I guess it's all part of that poll, all about that character poll. Oh boy.
The Concord wants $40. Okay.
Yeah.
We will see. Maybe we'll run a July 4th Independence Day extravaganza. Watch us try to get into the servers of Zenless Zone Zero and fail.
Yeah,
I'm good.
That is true. I forgot about that.
All right.
You are in the queue for the next 48 hours.
Yep.
No, I'm good.
All right, game night takes place every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. That's the day of the week and time we set aside to play games with our growing Discord community. So if you have a game that you would like to play with us, you just hop on over to our Discord, mention the game in the game night channel, and we'll be more than happy to play with you. So you might be asking, well, how do I join the Discord? That's easy enough. You just head on over to the app formerly known as Twitter, currently known as X.
X.
Horrible. And you head over to @GamingVessels, GamingVessels. You click the link in the bio and you're in. There is no merch to buy. There is no Patreon tier list requirement. We just ask that you just be a good person, likes talking and playing video games. And I think you'll find yourself a nice, nifty little home on our Discord, on our Gaming Vessels Discord server. So that is going to bring episode 252 to a close. We hope you enjoyed the show. Thanks for chilling out and hanging out and cooling out with us. So for Dez, a.k.a. the Bay Area Terror, a.k.a. the High Res Lover.
That's me.
A.k.a. the Cat Daddy, a.k.a. that Gamer Stepdaddy. And for Trader Joe, a.k.a. Jabroni Chief.
Yeah.
Might also know him as the Food Max of Gaming, who can maximize your gaming dollar. I'm Shono 71, a.k.a. Diggadolamite.
Purple bling bling, y'all.
And we will be back next time, episode 253 for your ears. Peace.